I would tell my younger self that nothing is ever as good or as bad as it seems. And I would encourage them and implore them to keep dreaming and pursuing their goals.
I actually wanted to ask, I mean, Amber, as far as like Brie, your experience on the show, obviously,
Yeah.
it's a big undertaking. We've all gone through it. What did, what do you think you learned from the show and everything that you went through, and how did that impact the relationship with your mother? Like,
Yeah.
the relationship with your mother change at all post show or through that process?
No, I mean, what was interesting is I actually didn't expect this, but my mom, I mean, watching that first episode back whenever I shared like that feeling of being isolated, it made my mom really sad. And I was like, they
Mm.
totally completely cut off the part where I felt like, I felt like that was a very selfish feeling of me to say that I felt isolated. But I mean, if anything, it's just what I've learned from the show, what I've taken away from the show is like, there is nothing weak about being vulnerable and being open. I
Mm.
mean,
It's
I
true.
came on the show and like spilled my heart out, it felt like shared things that I would never share with anyone, let alone on national television to be aired to like millions of people. And I think people always like tie like weakness with vulnerability, and it should be, in fact, the opposite.
Yeah, couldn't be farther from the truth. And I totally commend you for that. And Mike, I think you did it the same way. You basically laid everything out on the line. And that's, in essence, that's the only way to do this, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want to regret or say, oh man, I should have done this, or I should have let more of myself out there. The fact that you were able to just let it all out during your time, I mean, you have no regrets, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
This comes
Mike's
to,
like,
well, we get questions all the time, all three of us, about our experience on the show. And Brian, you're the married one. Bree, I don't know your situation, but I'm the single one out of the Brian and I. And I always think about what, like, in my dating now, in comparison to the show, when you're on the show, you don't know if you'll ever see that person again. You don't know if you'll have a one-on-one experience with that person again. You don't know if you'll be able to get 15 minutes with that individual. You don't have a cell phone, so your communication is always in person. And I think that in real life versus the show, in real life, we take that for granted. So therefore, we may not pour out as much. Like you were saying when you were with Matt,
yeah,
you said things to him and just in general that you would never say. And I feel it's because we feel that, oh, I'll see her or I'll see him next week,
yeah.
whatever the case may be.
Accelerated.
Mhm.
Yeah.